Hey, folks, this is the Invest Now America podcast. Please go to my Facebook page, Invest Now America, and become a follower. Today, I wanted to talk to you about Black Millionaires of Tomorrow, Fund Finance Flashcards by Dr. Boyce Watkins. You can learn more information about Boyce Watkins, his books, his whole perspective on things. I think you can go to his website called BoyceWatkins.com. Pretty interesting guy. I've read a couple of his books. I've been meaning to do like a book club type show because I really do like his stuff. Don't always agree with his politics, but I do like his stuff when it comes to finance and wealth building. He is really something. So I purchased these flashcards he put out, Black Millionaires of Tomorrow Fund Finance Flashcards. And they have different subjects in every one of the cards. And as I was reading through the cards, I was saying to myself, man, this is great stuff. This isn't just good for young people, but it's good for old farts like me. And I'm looking at one card here. It says entrepreneur. So it shows a guy in the front there. He's an entrepreneur. And then in the back, it gives a definition. An individual who, rather than working as an employee, founds and runs a small business, assuming all the risk and rewards of the venture, commonly seen as an innovator, a source of new ideas, goods, services, and business and or procedures. And I started reflecting on my own life. When it wasn't until very late in my life I had to accept the fact that I was an entrepreneur, that it was simply very, very difficult for me to work for somebody else. And the reason why it was difficult because I just didn't want to do it. Now, I've had jobs. I've had many jobs. As a matter of fact, for about 6-7 years, I was a debt collector. I did pretty good as a debt collector. I was a pretty good employee for every company I worked for, except for the last one. But I was always looking for ways to start my own business. I mean, at one point, I tried to start my own debt collection business. Another time, somebody approached me. He was a debt collector with a company, and he approached me. He was saying he and his brother were looking to start a debt collections company. I was always looking at ways to start my own business. And I've started many, many businesses, and the overwhelming majority of them failed. But I just kept on because I just had the heart of an entrepreneur. And it took me many, many years to accept that fact. For the longest time, I kept thinking, well, maybe I'm lazy. Maybe that's why I just didn't like working jobs. Maybe I was just lazy. No, I just had the spirit of an entrepreneur, and I just had to accept that fact about myself. It really started back when I was young. I'll never forget it. I was asking my dad for money to buy blue jeans. And he asked me how much they were, and I told him. And I'll never forget it. He said, man, that's a lot of money. And he seemed like he sort of thought about it. And then he said, well, come here. And make a long story short, he just showed me. He pulled out the lawnmower. We had a gas-powered lawnmower. He showed me how to operate it. And then he said, there you go. And I said, well, what? He said, well, you can take this lawnmower. You can go around the neighborhood. We lived in the suburbs. Millstone Drive area, and he said, "Go ask them people. Go door to door and ask people if you can mow their lawn, and then they'll pay you." And that was the start of it. That my father, knowingly or unknowingly, wittingly or unwittingly, he planted that entrepreneur seed in me, and that was just it. And I just went from there. There's only 2 times when I've done quite well as far as entrepreneur activity is concerned. One was when I co-founded the Bishop Tutu Refugee Fund with my now ex-wife, Naomi. We did that in Hartford, Connecticut, and it was great. It truly was an international organization, and it was great. I enjoyed it. And then, of course, my most recent ventures when I started teaching chess on a professional basis, mainly going to young people, reaching them through Jefferson County Public Schools and other places, and just teaching young people chess. I started with my daughter, moved, and it just grew from there. Then I founded my own nonprofit in 2019. Here's one thing I've learned. There's many things I've learned as an entrepreneur, but here's one thing I've learned, and I really want to share this with other entrepreneurs. Well, I really want to share this with up-and-coming entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, people who are thinking about starting their own business. Do what you love and love what you do. Do what you love and love what you do. If you go into entrepreneurship to pursue money, pretty good chance I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, but it's not likely to happen. I'm not going to say it'll never happen, but it just doesn't quite work out that way. I mean, if it's just about money for you, hey, work the corporate ladder. Just go up that way. I know people who've done that, and they've done pretty well for themselves. You ought to look at some of the salaries of some of these CEOs of major companies. Oh, my Lord. I mean, it's amazing what these guys get, these CEOs of companies. Now, they're employees. Basically, they're employees. I mean, the board of directors or whatever, the shareholders, they can fire them. But, man, these guys make stupid amounts of money. I've never come close to making anything like that. I mean, as an entrepreneur, I was doing good just to keep my head above water as far as keeping a roof over my head, food in my stomach, clothes on my back. So you might ask, well, why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? Because I love what I do, and I do what I love. And it's really, in many respects, not work for me. I've had people talk to me about the Kentucky Chess Ambassadors, and of course, the Kentucky Chess Ambassadors, the fiscal sponsor for the Queen and Zinga Warriors, an all-girls chess program, and the West Louisville Chess Club. And they'll sit there questioning me, how many kids you got, how many hours do you work? And I'm like, dude, it's hard for me to really, I have to really sit down and think hard about the amount of time I put into this. I put a lot into it. But it's hard for me to view it as work. I literally could get up 2, 3 in the morning and just start working on stuff. Because I love it. This is what I do. If I was working a JOB, and if I wasn't working third shift and I got a phone call from my employer, dude, I ain't picking up that phone. You done made that up. But I will voluntarily, any hour of the day, any day of the week, holidays, birthdays, whatever, work on building my chess program. I do what I love, and I love what I do. And I've been blessed in so passionately and faithfully and diligently pursuing that objective that money has come to me. I've got enough money to put a roof over my head, clothes on my back, food in my stomach. I'm living in pretty much what's a dump of a one-bedroom apartment. The only new clothes I really get are clothes my wife buys for me and my sister. And, as far as food is concerned, I love it when my sister invites me out to dinner because, she pays. She usually pays. But, boy, I wouldn't give up what I'm doing for nothing. I love what I do, and I do what I love. And that's one thing I've learned as an entrepreneur. Do what you love what you do, and it'll come. The dreams, the accomplishments, the achievement, the recognition, it will come. It will come. And you just have to be, I don't know what it is. Maybe you want to do something like have a dog shelter, a no-kill dog shelter. Well, I don't know too many multimillionaires who became multimillionaires with having a no-kill dog shelter. But if you love what you do and you do what you love, somehow or another the money will come. I don't know how, but it does. I'm not saying just sit there and hope and pray for the money to come, but if you just stay focused on that dream of building that program, what do you have to do to make it work? What do you have to do as far as, finding the dogs and caring for the dogs and sheltering the dogs and finding them, permanent homes, all that kind of stuff. Do that. Focus on that. do what you love, and love what you do. So all this started off when I was talking about the Black Millionaires of Tomorrow Fund Finance Flashcards done by Dr. Boyce Watkins. Man, it's a good thing. I can't remember exactly how much I paid for these flashcards, but I'm glad I paid for them. I'm going to use them. I'm right now building I have something of a financial literacy club for young people, and we're definitely going to be using these cards. So I highly recommend them. Buy them, folks. Go to BoyceWatkins.com, and I'm going to go through a few other cards in the future and just talk about something on each one. Hey guys, thank you for listening. Invest Now America, that's my Facebook page. Please go there and follow. I also have a website, investnowamerica.org. Please sign up for my blog. Just put in your email address and it's free. And I send it out about once or twice a month. I'm not into get rich quick schemes, none of that nonsense. It's just solid financial information, and I talk about programs where you can go to make sure that your children, your sons, your daughters, your nieces, your nephews, your grandsons, your granddaughters can go and become financially literate at a young age. It's been good, folks. You'll hear from me again soon.